structures known as mastabas, predictably argued as once being tombs. They in fact once held radioactively charged elements, possibly wastewaters from a nuclear reaction. With levels of radon gas now recognized to be thousands of times above safe background levels, radon gas being a primary waste material from the decay of uranium. Yet, what has been found since we covered this remarkable realization could not only finally confirm the original, true purpose for the Great Pyramids, but they could still be intact functioning structures. The question is, what are they doing? What could they have been utilizing such tremendous levels of power for? Just exactly what the structures could do when properly fired up is pure conjecture, yet this discovery's potential to finally expose their true purpose, along with our own investigations corroborating evidence now undeniable. Found beneath the Great Pyramid, a team of Italian researchers have uncovered an enormous labyrinth of giant vertical shafts, sinking thousands of meters into the earth below. Wrapped in cylindrical chambers with a massive limestone platform containing two enormous cavities with descending channels resembling pipelines on each side. During a news briefing released Saturday, the researchers said a water system had been identified beneath the platform, located more than 2,100 feet below the Khafre Pyramid, with underground pathways leading even deeper into the earth. The team used radar pulses to create high-resolution images deep into the ground beneath the structures. And although not peer-reviewed, we may have finally solved just why these enormous features could have been known of, yet hidden for decades. There are many factors which need to be confirmed regarding the structures, its features, and indeed radiation levels before the hypothesis can be confirmed beyond doubt. But one has to wonder, were these enormous, apparently unbreached labyrinths once discovered, yet were decidedly covered up? Possibly due to their existence exposing the pyramid's true function? There are ways in which we can start to confirm aspects of the power station hypothesis without further exploration of the underground chambers. Firstly, the cylindrical wells found elsewhere across the planet could now be tested in line with the theory, possibly used for the purpose of containing nuclear reactions via the submersion of uranium rods. With many pyramids around the world shown to have mysteriously charged watercourses either running along or in many cases through these structures. We recall an email received from a member of the Bosnian Pyramid investigation, which detailed how they had found such waterways within the pyramid. Throughout the Bosnian site, the river had been masterfully man-made and the water levels manipulated to be just a few inches in many areas. The artificial nature and the efforts put into achieving this feat clear to all the team, yet until now, the purpose for these waterways were unknown. Could we be witnessing evidence of naturally fed and thus cooled ancient nuclear reactors? If so, one would also expect to find radiation above normal levels within the lower chambers in Bosnia. Yet alas, the results of any said tests are yet to be established. However, this did not deter us from looking elsewhere. And it didn't take long to return corroborating evidence found within the Pyramid of the Sun in Mexico. An abstract from the research is as follows. Beneath the pyramid, there is a pre-Hispanic tunnel that was used for ritual ceremonies. We evaluated the radon levels inside this and other tunnels, plus tunnels excavated for research purposes by archaeologists. Passive nuclear track detectors were used to measure radon. Radon ranged from 70 to 190 becquerels per cubic meter. The radon levels decreased with height above ground level. Our next course of action was to try to establish if this is indeed the case. Why would they hide such an astonishing truth? What motive could there be? Could there be even more to this secret, such as a possible past function? For if these structures were found to somehow be interconnected, creating a grid across our planet, we could be looking at the ultimate motive for the entirety of the cover-up we so tirelessly work to expose. For when we did this investigation, we were confronted with a shape created by these structures, which formed the mystical flower of life. Could this flower be a message, a sign, indicative of the true purpose of this grid, and indeed the pyramids themselves? Could the pyramids somehow be generating our dimension, or possibly created a dimension our ancestors once vanished to? Perhaps not the victims of a sudden cataclysm, but a type of rapture, once accomplished through technical prowess and knowledge of the true secrets of the universe. Energy has now been recorded as being strangely emitted by countless pyramids across the planet. Even the Great Pyramids are now confirmed as having this trait. This could indicate that these secret hidden chambers still contain some form of functioning reaction, these structures being giant power-generating machines. And once we finally establish this en masse, we can work on unraveling just what our ancestors were truly capable of. And inevitably what we will also become capable of ourselves, thanks to these magnificently resilient structures. Technology left to us possibly by a now interdimensional civilization. Could we be on the verge of finally unlocking the secrets of the ancients and the purpose of the pyramids? A secret which will change the course of our history forever? Could we here on our channel be on the precipice of confirming the true purpose of Earth's Great Pyramids once and for all? I find the possibility highly compelling.
The Curse of the Pharaohs, alleged to be cast upon anyone who disturbed the mummies of ancient Egypt. This curse, which does not differentiate between thieves and archaeologists, is claimed to cause bad luck, illness, or death, with it famously claiming the lives of at least 20 people associated with the opening of King Tut's tomb. However, could the cause for the curse have a more elemental origin? Rather than a spell, could their illnesses have been caused by rooting around in the dirt and sands across Egypt for many decades? Ones actually caused by radiation poisoning? We have melted steps found within Dendera Temple, strange and curious copper handles thought by many to have been ancient cathodes upon Gantenbrink's door. Could these anomalies be evidence suggesting the existence of a past meltdown within Egypt? One which caused the disappearance of the pyramid builders themselves? Carter famously performed many tests on the artifacts he would find, even swabbing the air to ensure there was no curse. But he was limited by the science of the time, and while the air he breathed was indeed safe, he could not detect the dangers of radiation. And according to a new study published in the Journal of Scientific Exploration, the source of this radiation has now been found. Locations within Giza and also Saqqara have now been found to have background radiation still 10 times over the safety threshold, with massive deposits of ancient uranium now found to have somehow once leached into the many walls of the mastabas, which dot the surround of the Great Pyramids. These predictably once just argued away as ancient tombs. However, why such massive amounts of an element known to be used in nuclear reactors is present here also predictably escapes mainstream explanation. Many ancient pyramids across the globe, such as within Bosnia or the series of buried Great Pyramids once investigated within Crimea, have been shown to each emit strange energy fields. These strange characteristics found at differing pyramids at differing times within history, with individuals arriving at similar conclusions, of them possibly once having been used to generate electricity. Quote, "The two locations were both in the tunnels under Pharaoh Khafre's valley building in what is known as the Osiris tomb shaft. Here, 2 stone coffers were shown to be intensely radioactive, the interiors of the coffers even more so than the outside. It looked a lot like something that emitted a strong radiation had been placed in these 2 containers. Similar storage areas known as magazines under Djoser's pyramid in Saqqara also emitted radiation. The area looks to have been once filled with hundreds of pots, their contents unanalyzed and unknown. The study believes that these pots and the other storage containers are filled with uranium-235, known as yellow cake. This highly radioactive substance used today to enrich uranium isotopes for use in modern-day nuclear reactors would emit a deadly radiation. Could this all be evidence for the Great Pyramid's original purpose? A lost technology which could have offered seemingly unlimited energy? We find the possibility highly compelling.
The Great Pyramids, although undoubtedly one of the greatest ancient sites upon Earth. Many feel that when these enigmatic structures are one day inevitably deciphered and their subsequent significance realized, this importance to the development of man will utterly eclipse that which has already been unraveled here upon our planet. It is a site that we predict will encounter numerous astonishing discoveries that will undoubtedly be played down or discredited by mainstream academia and media alike. Interestingly, however, regardless of our suspicions, an international research group's finds have seemingly been shared worldwide by the same organizations we so often find ourselves here upon our channel accusing of conspiracy. This research team apparently applied methods of theoretical physics to the site in an effort to investigate the electromagnetic response of the Great Pyramids to radio waves, in an exercise reminiscent of those which unraveled astonishing characteristics of the Bosnian pyramids, has produced results that, predictably, since their discovery, scientists have stated were supposedly predicted under certain resonance conditions. They now state that the pyramid was predicted to concentrate electromagnetic energy in its internal chambers and under the base. This supposed initial prediction was made regardless of the fact that not a single claim to these events had ever been made within a single thesis funded by academia. Conveniently, this research group plans to use the theoretical results to design nanoparticles capable of reproducing similar effects in the optical range. Such nanoparticles may be used to develop sensors and highly efficient solar cells. The study was published in the Journal of Applied Physics. It seems to us that those in control of the production lines of mankind are seemingly aware of the technological prowess of the Great Pyramids, yet appear to be suppressing such discoveries in favor of financial control. In other words, the people who have permitted the release of these finds are the same people controlling the flow of information and technological development of our species. Quote, "The Egyptian pyramids have always attracted great attention. We as scientists were interested in them as well, so we decided to look at the Great Pyramid as a particle dissipator of radio waves resonantly. Due to the lack of information about the physical properties of the pyramid, we had to use some assumptions. For example, we assumed that there are no unknown cavities inside, and the building material had the properties of an ordinary limestone, evenly distributed in and out of the pyramid. With these assumptions made, we obtained interesting results that can find important practical applications," says Dr. S.C. Andrei Evluchin, scientific supervisor and coordinator of the research. "We feel the research is dubious, not only due to the fact that it has been shared within the same mainstream media, who we feel have for a long time been funded to tell an entirely different story, but also due to the attempted conviction that there are no chambers left to be uncovered within the pyramid. Is there something within the pyramid that, no matter how hard certain powers try, they cannot seem to hide? Is this the reason for this conclusion and subsequent research being so widely covered? We find the discovery and subsequent coverage to be highly suspicious."
Established evidence surrounding the curse of the pharaohs, which, instead of a mysterious spell cast over any who would dare raid the tomb of Tutankhamun, eventually wiping out 20 members of Carter's expedition, many are now thought to have instead been due to radiation, with toxic levels now established throughout the Giza Plateau and along the Nile. These enormous levels of radiation tracked back to mysterious chambers